Hi everybody, welcome to In the Glow. My name is Shealeigh Heindel. I am the Product Education Specialist here at Paula's Choice. And joining me today we have the lovely Erin Boudreau.
Hi, I'm Erin. I am the Director of Product Development and Head of Sustainability here at Paula's Choice. I've been here just over 10 years and we're excited to talk to you about some really cool stuff today.
Absolutely. Today's episode is all about sustainability, specifically talking about a new recycling program that we're partnering with launching here at Paula's Choice called TerraCycle. And Erin is the expert.
So TerraCycle, if you're not familiar with them, they're a huge global company, and they've basically, their role is to recycle the unrecyclable. And we take sustainability and the environment really, really seriously here at Paula's Choice, and we recognize that there's a ton more that we can do. And one of the biggest things, sort of the lowest hanging fruit, if you will, is packaging. We all know that plastic packaging is a huge problem in our society. In fact, plastic personal care packaging takes up about 1/3 of all the plastic packaging that's in landfills today. So our goal is to divert that and continue the loop, so to speak, so that those materials can be collected and used for something good, so they can go back into the system to be used for park benches and cool things like that will live for a really long time. So what TerraCycle is allowing us to do is giving us a program where our customers can actually go online, print out a free prepaid return label, and send all of their Paula's Choice empty packaging to TerraCycle, where it gets collected and sorted and used for good instead of ending up in a landfill.
That's amazing. I think that that's a common misconception, that people just think that their Paula's Choice product or any other beauty skincare product can just be recycled curbside.
It 100% is. Just because it's plastic doesn't mean it's recyclable. And what I should qualify that by saying it's not necessarily recyclable municipally. Our municipal recycling centers are very limited in what they can take. And they don't sort by, here's kind of a fun fact, the number that's at the bottom of your package, a lot of people refer that as a recycling symbol, and it'll usually have a number 1 through 7.
Oh, yeah.
But actually what that number is a resin identification number, and that's put there for recyclers. It's not for consumers. So just because that number is on your bottle, that doesn't mean it's recyclable. The recycling facilities will usually look at plastic based on shape and size. So milk cartons, orange juice carton, your laundry detergent cartons, those they know right away. Those are very easy to sort and send to their buyers. Aluminum cans are really easy, glass is really easy. But when it comes to smaller things, what's really important to know is that typically if something is smaller than 3 inches in diameter or less than roughly about 6 ounces, it's not going to survive the sorting process at your recycling facility. Ugh, I tripped over that word. And it's going to end up in landfill, unfortunately. So the tricky thing is that these rules really vary by region. So what's true here in Seattle at the waste management facility may not be true even as close as the facility in Woodinville, which is about 15 miles north of here.
Wow.
So for example, one is fine with the caps on your single-use water bottles. The other doesn't want them. So it's really important to check with your municipality, see what they can take. That'll help a lot. I think you'll learn a lot. Actually, some of those facilities do tours too, and I've actually taken a couple, and it's fascinating. If you're a recycling nerd like me, maybe not everyone thinks going to a recycling center is cool, but I do recommend it. It was really educational, and it really opened my eyes to how we are really part of the problem, and we're taking the step to solve that.
Yeah, and I think sometimes too, even if you recycle, if you don't know the best practices for how to recycle, you're doing something good, but doing it incorrectly and doing it in a way that's actually not contributing to the better, better good of
exactly.
I've
heard that referred to as wishful recycling, and everyone's heart is in the right place. But often what we're doing is sending trash to our recycling centers, and they have to spend a lot of time sorting and just making things a little bit more difficult. And one thing to keep in mind is that recycling is a business. So a lot of what your facility will take is based on who their buyers are. So paper, that's a really easy one. Aluminum's a super slam dunk. But anything more complex than that is where it starts getting really gray.
Yeah, and that's where skincare products and beauty products come into play. But luckily, TerraCycle is going to make it a lot easier for our consumers.
Yeah, definitely. And so we're really excited. We're really excited to be able to give our customers the opportunity to have something to do with these empties, not just guess, not just throwing them into your recycle bin and keeping your fingers crossed and, let's hope for the best. We know for a fact that if you're using this program, which again is free to everyone, that everything's being collected and going to the right place.
Awesome. When does TerraCycle launch? For
It will launch. You'll see it on our website later today, later this afternoon Pacific time, so probably tomorrow morning for folks on the East Coast. And we'll have simple instructions. Basically, all you have to do is go onto the TerraCycle website, create an account, and you're ready to send back your empties. And you do get points as well. They collect. You can collect points by weight, so the more you send in, the more points you get, and you can then redeem those points on TerraCycle for charitable donations to schools or the charity of your choice.
Are people going to be able to send back non-Paula's Choice product components?
Right now, the program is just for Paula's Choice, so we do ask that that's all you send back.
Got it. That's super cool. I'm so excited.
Are there any local TerraCycle drop-off places that people can find?
That's a really good question. I have looked for that here in Seattle, and I didn't find any. But if you go onto the TerraCycle website, and again, we'll have that link up on our site later today, you can actually search to see if there's someone nearby who is collecting, which obviously was super easy. And that actually makes me think of another point. One of the biggest questions I had before we went forward with this program is, okay, great, we have a place to collect all of the plastic, but what about the carbon footprint of the shipping? Now we have all of this shipping going out. And the reality is there's so many variables that there's not a solid answer on that. However, most case studies do indicate that being able to reuse plastic instead of making things from virgin plastic far outweighs the carbon emissions of the shipping. So we do think that this is a plus.
Are Paula's Choice products made with virgin plastic?
Right now, yes, they are, which is not something I'm proud to say, but that's what we've been doing. And it's something that we'll be changing, and you'll start seeing by the end of next year. Unfortunately, in product development, we work quite a ways out, 12 months, 18 months out. So starting with mid-2020, you'll start seeing packaging that is made from post-consumer recycled materials.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Are we going to be covering the materials to ship the products to TerraCycle?
What do you mean?
Like a box to ship the products back in?
Oh, good question. No, but the best thing to do is hold on to your Paula's Choice shipper and use that and put your empties in it, and when it's full, send it back. I think that's probably the easiest thing for everyone. Those boxes are usually small enough that you can stick it under your bathroom counter. That would be my recommendation, yeah.
Do you have to clean the products out before sending them in?
No, you don't have to clean them. We do hope that they're empty. But if there's still a small bit of product inside, along the edges of the bottle, don't worry about that. It doesn't have to be squeaky clean.
Nice.
Can you guys talk about any more sustainability practices at Paula's Choice, within our headquarters?
Yeah. Thank you so much for asking. So we've done a lot over the last 6 months that I'm really excited about. Actually, today officially, we have these really fancy new coffee machines, which I know sounds silly, but what that means is we got rid of the single-use Keurig machines. And I don't know, maybe I shouldn't diss a brand on, but the single-use coffee cups that are, they're terrible. Even the guy who invented them has gone on record saying, yeah, I made a mistake. So those are gone. We've gotten rid of all of our single-use plastic utensils, so we use all durables. What else have we done? We compost in the office now, and we've done a lot of education on teaching people what goes in recycling, what goes in compost, and what goes to landfill.
We plant some trees.
We planted some trees. Thank you for the reminder. We started a new program in 2019 where we offset all corporate air travel by planting trees. We partnered with One Tree Planted, which is another super organization, and we just did our first half tree planting in July, and we planted 800 trees to offset over 300,000 miles in air travel.
Wow.
I just heard about the girl, I think she's from
Greta.
Yeah. She took a boat from where
she
was it, Norway or
yeah, she's from Sweden
to New York. She took a boat. It took 14 days.
Yep. She's amazing.
Yeah, it's so amazing.
Yeah, if anyone out there is not familiar with Greta Thunberg, she's on Instagram. She has an incredible TED Talk that I really recommend listening to. She's basically a 16-year-old climate activist, and she does have Asperger's. And so she's just all around an incredibly impressive person. I mean, not even for being 16, age notwithstanding, she's so remarkable. So definitely look her up. And yeah, she's attending the UN Climate Convention in New York, and she took a boat because she does not fly because of the carbon emissions.
Speaking of transportation, Paula's Choice subsidizes public transit for employees. So lots of us use the bus system as opposed to driving.
Yeah, which we really encourage, again, saving carbon emissions. We have a great public transit system here in Seattle, and the company feels it's important to pay for that so that it's not all out of pocket, and that we're doing our part that way as well.
Can you go over again the point system for TerraCycle, what people get in return for sending their products back?
And I apologize, I don't remember off the top of my head what the rate is, but I believe it's something like, gosh, I'm sorry, I don't even want to say when but it's like $1 a pound or something like that. And so, so it's by weight. So if you send in 5 pounds of empties, you get X amount of points to then redeem as a donation to a charity, which is all happens through TerraCycle.
This is a silly question. Now that I'm thinking about it, do lids count toward sending back for TerraCycle?
Absolutely. So everything you get that's packaging, whether it's something that you see here, if it's a sample packet or a sachet, some people call them, the unit cartons that some of these products go in, all of that gets sent back. And all of the weight for that counts towards your points if you are collecting to donate. Which brings me to another point about what we're doing, sustainability. We're getting rid of as many unit cartons, which is the cardboard boxes that a lot of our smaller products come in. The reason we've had them is mainly for some retailers in the past have required them, and that's no longer the case. Some products, like our boosters, unfortunately, from a regulatory perspective, we just can't fit all of the information on there that has to go on there, so that's why we'll always have a unit carton. We are moving to Forest Stewardship Council certified paper, which basically means that the paper our boxes are made out of is sustainable and from a sustainable source, which is really, really important now as deforestation is so heavily in the news. But for most other products, like this eye cream is a great example. Right now it comes in a unit carton. We are moving to put all of the information on here because it's tight, but we can get it to fit. And getting rid of the box is more important than the aesthetic of the product.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's a good point, though. You'll probably stop seeing the unit cartons in Nordstrom soon as well.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
the assortment will look a little bit different. Same at Pharmaca.
Let's talk about cruelty-free. We do have another special guest with us today.
He's sleeping.
He's sleeping. Okay, we won't disturb him. But
Max.
Erin's dog Max is here, and I mean, obviously, a lot of people know that we're a dog-friendly office, but we're also cruelty-free.
Well, cruelty-free. We don't test on animals. We're Leaping Bunny certified. It's such an important certification for us to have, and a lot of consumers have come to recognize what that symbol means. And I forget what I wanted to say about cruelty-free. We talked about the dogs. I wish I could show you Max, but I don't have the heart to wake him up. He's old. I don't want to wake him up. And but on the lines of I don't know why this made me think of plants, but it did. Another sustainability initiative that we're taking is ensuring that any plant-derived ingredient is from a non-threatened source. So many people talk about, they use the words green and sustainable interchangeably, and just because you're using something from plants doesn't mean it's sustainable. In fact, we're losing species of plants in record numbers due to climate change, so it's really important for us to make sure that the species that we're using are not threatened or endangered. And in a lot of cases, there's a lot of cool things that raw materials suppliers are doing now where they can basically take a small sample of a plant-derived ingredient and then keep that going, keep that alive, sort of like, think of it like a kombucha mother or like what do they use for sourdough bread? The starter, where you can kind of just like keep making stuff out of it, which is a really cool blend of science and nature, which is kind of what as a brand we've always been about.
Very cool.
What are some of your top tips for beauty consumers like us in terms of being sustainable, being environmentally friendly in what we're consuming?
That's a really hard one because there's not, aside from not buying those products, there's not a lot of options. You know, this is sort of the dirty little secret of the beauty industry, I feel like, that's sort of just coming to light. I don't think that a lot of people, you know, their eyes are open as it relates to packaging. You know, we've learned a lot here as a company just in the last year or so. So my suggestion would be just to be mindful of what you need. I know a lot of us are junkies and we'll try things just to try them and end up not even finishing the bottle. I think that kind of thing is a little more wasteful, and looking for companies that are using recycled materials that have a TerraCycle. You know, there are a handful of other brands that use TerraCycle. It's actually much more widely used in the mass market for like detergents and foods. I think Gillette partners with them too. There's a handful of small beauty brands, but
you can recycle your toys.
Yeah.
Like your action figures I saw on their website.
Yeah, TerraCycle, and you can get boxes at home to collect pretty much anything. Batteries, old toys, clothes, cigarette butts. My husband actually owns a cocktail bar here in Seattle, and I'm trying to get him to do a cigarette butt one that would go on the outside of the building. Because that's actually one of the biggest offenders in terms of plastic in the ocean because of the filters. And people, you know, go to the beach and they smoke and they just leave their butts on the ground, and it's a big problem. But yeah, if you're interested for your school, for your office, go to TerraCycle, check out their zero waste boxes. They're a little pricey, and you're paying for people to, on the other end, to sort them and get them to the right place. So in my opinion, it's money well spent, but especially if you work in an office and have someone who can subsidize, it's a great idea.
TerraCycle launches today, so it should be on our website around 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. What is today? September 3rd. So
Tuesday, not Monday.
Check it out, yeah. Tuesday, not Monday. We're all making the Monday mistake. And then from then on out, we should have some questions, Q&A available either online or through our client services team. You're always welcome to give them a call, 1-800-831-4088. It's also on the back of your Paula's Choice plastic products or glass products. And we look forward to announcing more sustainability efforts moving forward.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for being on.
Thanks for having me. It's fun.
All right. Bye, guys.